Hello, everyone. Good morning, good evening, or good afternoon, and good night, wherever you are in the world. Um, unfortunately, I wasn't able to do this reading live because I am on vacation. So I had to record this ahead of time, but I still wanted to deliver on it. This was a last minute change, and it just felt better instead of trying to do this live to just go ahead and do this in respects of not having other energies influence this and get it out the way. And at a moment in time when I'm focused and not rushing or feeling under pressure to kind of get this over and done under a certain amount of time. So, I hope that doesn't throw you all off for this reading, but, have to be transparent about that and, bring that to your attentions. Now, with that explanation out the way of why this will not be a live reaction and why this is not live and why this had to be pre-recorded, I am doing this reading on Malcolm Jamal Warner because there has been some rumblings and the grumblings of the jungle of the internet that there may have been some foul play involved in his passing. And I have not read up anything on this. I haven't looked at anything. I haven't really much paid attention to any of it. I seen him, the announcement of his passing, what was that, last week? And I just kind of put it out of sight, out of mind because, I really did love his character on The Resident. Theo's a very impactful and powerful character on the Cosby Show. And, it's sad to see this man go because he had such, it seems like he came with such morality and value to everything that he did. He had a purpose, a reasoning behind it. And what makes me like him even more is that he's Regina King's ex. And she is also yet another actress or actor that I think of when I think of like integrity and purpose. But I think of people in Hollywood who exemplify that, and she is yet another person. So to me, if hey, you dated Regina King, you must have something about you, a very charming and authentic character. So yes. So with all of that being said, I know I'm kind of late on the uptake with this one, but I kind of like to give stuff a moment to breathe. I'm not trying to rush and jump on it just because it's something that happened. I like to give it a moment to breathe. I want to let it breathe a little bit before I kind of get into it because I also have to prepare myself energetically to kind of just jump into that. But with all that being said, all statements made are alleged for entertainment purposes only. Please keep in mind to exercise your power of discernment. Please keep in mind there may be certain things that I will pick up on intuitively that maybe the general public or you personally know, or whatever the case may be, or you have heard. But I am only relaying the messages, and I try to do this, especially this reading. I'm doing this with the intent of hopefully answering some concerns that people have, and hopefully allowing the dead to speak, essentially, if they would like to do so, if they feel welcome to do so in this space. So yes, I do this with all respect. It is no disrespect with this because again, he is somebody I have a great amount of respect for, adoration for. So yeah, with that, let's move forward and see if there is anything here in regards to what happened during the moment that Malcolm Jamal Warner passed away. Let's see if there's any messages here, some insight Malcolm Jamal Warner would like to share in regards to the moment of his. There was a lot of fires there. Okay, this card wants to stick out for sure. So this is the High Priestess. Remember, it did come out to the side. I feel like I should leave it like that for the moment. This one wants to come out too. What's coming up here? Let's see. So the fact that all of his cards for me, usually, I have cards flying all over the place, but this time they're kind of just turning to the side, like, hey, grab this one. This is what I want to say. So respectful. Usually I have just I'm flying all over the place. Is that it? Okay, I don't want to shuffle anymore. That's it. Um, so we do have the high priestess here, and this does definitely speak to kind of like um if we was to get into woo woo of everything, I do think of energies, people, spirits, of things like that that are on the other side here. But the high priestess typically to me alludes to like trust, instincts, intuition. Um, and as you can see there, you see like it's the baby in between, heaven and I mean not heaven, but between light and day, dark and day, night and day. Why was I struggling with that? And then we also have the devil coming up here in reverse. Devil coming up here in reverse. So maybe not bad intentions, but restrictions, some kind of boundary there. We also have the Queen of Wands coming up here, overlooking a building. Again, typically the Queen of Wands alludes to someone who is very, typically it's like a feminine energy. I don't want to say it's a female or a woman, but typically it's like a female energy that is charismatic. They can also be somebody who is, how do I say, kind of like tit for tat, um, very beautiful, very passionate. Sorry, y'all hear me put on this lotion because I think I had a mosquito bite me and it is got me itching. Um, so I usually think of those kinds of energies or like a personality when I think of the Queen of Wands. I can also think of somebody who could, very, I want to say spiteful is the word that's coming up, but it's like don't screw her over kind of thing. We do have the Queen of Swords coming up here in the reverse. I mean, not in the reverse, but in the underlying energies. We have the Six of Wands, followed by the Nine of Wands here. Feeling defensive about something and then having to walk away. What is this combative energy? This let's see if I can get some more clarity. I think I need to go back to this one. I'm sorry, I gotta pull some more tarot. Oh, and then I get the Temperance. Something out of balance. I want to say maybe a power imbalance is more so what it feels like, a power imbalance. Um, Temperance also can, I think of temperance when it comes to, keeping things leveled. Sometimes it can speak to sobriety of things like that. Um, I don't know if he was, under the influence when he went out. That could be a possibility here because we also have the devil. That's usually kind of like you may be falling into bad habits or something. Maybe he did something that he shouldn't have been doing. Um, at a time or under certain circumstances he was doing it here, and that's coming up in reverse. So That's interesting. And then we get that Five of Wands here. Somebody who's supposed to be helping me, or we are combating with one another, or we have some people that is envious of us. We also have the Three of Wands coming up in reverse. Um, yeah, stepping out and traveling and doing something when you shouldn't have been. Feeling over encumbered. Was he carrying something? Was he carrying something? See, look, all of his cards, he's so respectful, blinded to pain of some sort. Okay, that was the first one that kind of flew out. Anger and chains. I see why that flew out. Oh, okay. I feel like it's okay. These three that wanted to come out, or four, sorry. Hiding your true self, fated to suffer, I won't cry for you, perchance to dream. Based on them cards I got and the what the rumors are online, I'm inclined to believe this Queen of Wands is maybe his wife. I don't know if these two got into an argument or something, or maybe things weren't the best. That's probably why they were on this trip. I believe they was in Mexico when this happened, or Puerto Rico. Maybe they were trying to give the family a nice last vacation, or maybe they was hoping to go there and fix some things, but it didn't kind of get ironed out. I'm kind of believing those rumors. And we do have Black Flower Fragrance here. And I need to look that one up because I don't remember what that one was about. So this is. It's saying you cannot shine because you are beautiful, ugly, absurd, cheapest crown, and spring design. Love. Oh, love is not a white dove, nor turns people into angels. Love can be ugly. Love can be cheap. Love can be rotten, but even ugly love has a right to exist. Even cheap love can raise to the sky. Even rotten love has the dignity of eternity. Mm. Yeah, some scenes. Because I'm trying to get a beat on what was the circumstances or the energy around his passing. So that may be why some of this is probably coming through confusing as well, because I'm trying to get an understanding of it. But of course, if you're like tapping into that individual, it may come through like a little confusing just to explain. But that's why I'm really just leaning on what the meanings of the cards are, because intuitively I haven't really got anything coming through. It's more like feelings, and it feels like turbulence. So this popped on top of my hand. This is talking about extreme opposites or opposing factions. Can the camera clear up there? Okay, what these that fell out? I have fortune and fame. I have libertines and renegades. I have divine grace, and then blasphemy. I don't know. I feel like I'm getting something about like something not being quite settled. And I think it's more so between him and his family or his significant other, or maybe even something personally that he was kind of dealing with that wasn't, that he would have lights or have was working on kind of like completing or finalizing in some sense. And unfortunately, this event happened and threw that out the window. Let me see if maybe the underlying energies for these cards here can give shit a bit more light. I'm still getting that opposing factions and extreme opposites here. Opposites. Pride. And then also breaking the circle here. Catastrophe and haste. Ego and hatred. Alone in the world. I won't cry for you. Fated to suffer. Revenge is also the other one here. Another card about pride, downcast pride. Okay. Let's get into the nitty gritty of it. I was hoping I would probably get it in that one, but let's see here. Let's see. Okay. And so we have the Six of Swords, the Five of Coins, and the Page of Swords as well. Let's mix these back up in here and see what we get. Okay, now I think I know what it is, what's coming through. I think I know what it is that's coming through here. Hold on. I want to make sure with the cards before I channel what's say what I'm feel like it's being channeled. Okay. Oh, I got two. Okay. Let me leave this up so I know what's what. Okay. So we have the Seven of Cups. And to me, I think about the story with this one where the girl felt she was exiled, she went through a breakup or something, and she was kind of like banished, or she what they call it, exiles her own self to kind of like heal and recover from the breakup of her relationship. And so she kind of finds herself in this dark place where she's reevaluating her purpose in life. This thing also speaks to like grand delusions or illusions about things. Maybe you're not seeing things for what they are. I think of those, that kind of energy here, but the story is what's popping out to me more so with the Seven of Cups. Then we also have the Page of Swords here as well, coming up in reverse. So not being informed, not knowing something, maybe not even taking action on something when you need to. I don't know why vindictive is also another thing that's coming up, but that's something that's coming up for me with this Page of Swords in reverse is, yeah. Then we have the Hierophant in reverse. I mean, the Emperor in reverse. And again, this speaks to like somebody overbearing or overusing their power or abusive power. Somebody being very, what's the word? What's the word? What's the word? Um, I want to say like strong arm, very dominating, domineering. Yes, that's the word. Thank you. And then I have the Six of Swords here in the upright here, and this is somebody who's kind of like hiding away, trying to survive. But to me, I get like, what goes on behind closed doors. You you don't know what's going on behind closed doors. And the reason why I'm saying this is because I'm going back to what I was like intuitively getting. So intuitively, if I was to not look at these cards, but when I was shuffling, what I was picking up on, it feels something very typical that you would kind of see in a relationship. Again, it feels like maybe he left out that morning because they had some kind of disagreement, or maybe he needed a minute to cool down. Something was going on between him and the family, or him and the wife, or something that was unsettled. Again, something that the agreement was not made or connected on or agreed upon in some sense, even if it was a agree to disagree kind of thing. So there was some solution or finality to the situation, and maybe he went out that morning to kind of like clear his head. And in the midst of doing that, because maybe you were distracted, maybe he was distracted, or something else was going on, or maybe he was under the influence or something else. And instead of the wife kind of maybe calling him back, or the family calling him back, he kind of went out there to, decompress for a minute. And, led to A, B, C, D, into where he is, now, RIP. So it feels like, I don't think there was intentions or some kind of like mischievous or some intentionality behind his passing. It kind of just feels like a series of unfortunate events. Like these were all things that led up to it. I could very much see how people would believe that the wife had something to do with it, or like she was purposeful in this or something like that, or be ready to blame him. But I think, like with most things, there's also a part on his behalf that he has to take responsibility for. So I don't think it's just it's all on the opposite party. Like I don't know how often people need to see this, or it needs to be said that there is no perfect victim. There is no perfect, I guess you can say, like, perpetrator. There's no perfect scenario to just be like, oh well, this person was absolutely in the wrong and this person was absolutely right. There was a series of things that led up to a culmination of things that led up to this point where somebody, unfortunately, was the end result of the situation ending the way it does. So I want to say that, and I'm saying this not to be callous or mean, but just trying to explain, essentially, just so it's not like, I don't want people to feel like he was a bad guy, because the thing that I'm picking up on here is that I do think there was a part of him that was egotistical, very prideful, and maybe it could rub people the wrong way. And it's not to say like maybe, like, maybe there's a reason he should be walking around prideful and egotistical like that. Like maybe he has a right to, but it still doesn't mean that there isn't also a thing on the other hand where somebody could, have a right to be upset, or dislike that he was prideful, or domineering in that sense, and it led to them bumping heads. Like it is what it is. Um, We also have the Five of Swords here. To me, that speaks to like inner conflicts. That also speaks to mental conflicts as well. Sometimes I get this when I think of people who are mentally like disorganized in a sense, kind of like they're scatterbrained, they're all over the place. Then we have the Nine of Coins in reverse here. So I think maybe I don't. So the Nine of Coins usually to me is like enjoying your wealth, enjoying your independence. But with this coming up in reverse, it's kind of like you have to fight for your independence. It's not quite there yet. Maybe it's not quite your money, in a sense. Yeah. And look, that Queen of Wands is coming up in reverse again. Let's see what else I'm gonna pick up on in this reading, you all. I mean, it seems to be a very like typical mundane reasoning behind this. It's not. It doesn't seem like there's some big oh, she planned it, somebody had it out for him. It doesn't feel like something big and explosive like that. It just feels like a series of unfortunate events. And unfortunately and hopefully nobody um tries to point the blame or lean all the blame on one side, because it's not that at all. At least from what I'm getting here and what's in these cards, it doesn't feel like it's all one sided. Like, what was that flipped over? Atonement. Forgetting oneself. Oh, that popped out real fast too. Addicted. Remember, I was alluding to something about that earlier. And again, this is completely understandable. You're on vacation. Maybe you were imbibing a little too heavy. Maybe it slowed down his reflexes or his reaction time. Maybe it clouded his thought process or their thought process. Maybe this disagreement that happened was because of the excessive um, libations or whatever the case may be. But it just feels like, yeah, I don't see anybody being truly at fault or completely mean about this, and I can completely understand too, as me personally, and I'm gonna say this, and some people may be ready to throw shoes and everything else at me. But if I was his publicist, or if I was the person who was like the marketing person over his what they call it, his estate, because I know how very much the public react to any little thing to drag celebrities, um black, white, in between, male, like the climate and stuff that we're in. I would be like, no, I would like all process, all discoveries of this investigation to be kept between the family. Almost pulling some, who was that passed away a while ago? um Twitch. You know how most people didn't, like how most people didn't know that he self-exited, and that it was allegedly the wife's weapon that he used to do so. Like, it was very hush hush, but everybody came together out of respect for that person and for the family, and to make sure this person's legacy and everything wasn't ruined, and that he was able to be put away in tombs respectfully. I would be going that route. I would be putting gag orders on everybody. Nothing about this incident would be coming out, because I don't want somebody to just, whether for the wife and or for him and the family. Like, I want everybody's privacy to be respected. I want the privacy of whatever little disagreement that they had to be respected. Let that be between them, and let her God or her therapist figure that out, and move on. Like, out of respect. Like, if I was the publicist or the person over that, that's the route I would be going, honestly. And knowing he's so closely related to the whole Cosby stuff, not saying that he was a part of it, but just because he was a part of the show, like, I don't want there to be a thing of like, oh, people are drawing parallels, or he picked that up from so. Like, we're not gonna do that. Just, yeah, we're gonna keep it respectful. Ooh, look here, jealousy, destruction of the environment, and I also got grandeur. What's the underlying energies? Ingratitude, fertility, multiplicity, and unrestrained living, and laziness. And it does feel like somebody was getting to come up off of this for sure. Sorry. Blinded to pain, queen of my own world, colorless angel. I would be inclined to be like, it was probably even something, a disagreement about the spending. Like, hey, we about to get into some tough times. We about to tighten up about stuff around here because of what's going on. Maybe they were even planning on moving or, yeah, relocating or something like that. And it was just like, no, no, no. It was just something along those lines. So yeah, that's what I'm picking up here. You all, let me know your thoughts down in the comment section below. Um, yeah, that's what I'm getting for Malcolm Jamal Warner's passing. It doesn't speak of like a setup to me. It again, it just speaks to like a series of unfortunate events. However, unfortunately. So yeah, again, share your thoughts down in the comment section below. If you like this reading, give it a thumbs up. If you didn't, give me a thumbs down. That's appropriate as well. With all that being said, I hope this reading didn't disturb anybody too much. And, hopefully he is resting in peace and his family find peace and solace, after his passing. And, everybody can come together and respectfully put this person, let him lay to rest in peace and everything. But, again, I'm also a big proponent of, if there was some real dirty stuff that was going on, may it be exposed. But from what I'm getting from these cards, it doesn't seem like that. He doesn't give me those vibes at all in this reading. So yeah, let me know what jumped out to you, and I will see you all in the next reading. Bye.